Hey, what's going on, gang? It's Agent Orange. Good to see you all again. I'm back with another Fossilizer, Combiner, Fan Mode, whatever review. And I'm kind of hyped right now, actually, if you can't tell by my stuttering in my voice, is I'm really, really happy to bring you finally V3, which I believe is the definitive build, of mine at least, of Magmatron. Okay, all right. I'll put link to V1 and V2 if you want to see it, but oops, yeah, I wish he was a little more sturdy on the legs, but I mean, yo, I'll take what I can get. I think he looks fabulous. And actually, I was content with V2, but I had been talking with channel member Knickknack Games, and the individual, I don't know if you're he or she, so I'll say the individual was like, hey, this is cool and all, but I think I dug your V1 better. And I was like, huh. And I went back and looked at it, and there were a lot of things to like about V1. So I went ahead and I combined design elements from V1 and V2, and then here we go. And we have Magmatron. I won't be a culture vulture like I said in the other videos and pretend like, I know a ton about this character or even like Beast Wars for that matter. But I have studied the design, the toy. My friends used to have the toy, and like I've studied pictures of it. And one of the things that I hope you can appreciate is I try to give them the same like wing silhouette that Magmatron has. That little piece in the back, from the pterodactyl, like Aerosaur, Seasaur, Landsaur. Is that what they were called? And I try to give him the same sword on his hand, that big sword, the claw toes, the little claws hanging over the side of his shoulders, and also I try to beef up and bulk up his left arm as much as possible because that's where the plesiosaur would be. And dude, I think it came out good. I think it came out good actually, and I think maybe it would have been real appropriate if Hasbro was like, "Hey, this is Fossiltron, Magma Fossiltron, or whatever as an official instruction." But I mean, their combiner is good too, But yeah, I'm super hype, super hype. So let's go ahead and break this guy down. Yeah, and yeah, let's go ahead and break this guy down. I'm trying to think what's the best way to do this. I mean, let's start with the wings. So I'll just take him off camera so he doesn't mess with the blur. But stay right there. Yeah, so the wings are basically made using, this is the Ractonite hip connector, right, where the thighs connect to the hip. You have one of those, and then you have the two big rack legs plugged in like so. And then you want the foot plugged in here because you need that port that hangs off from the big rack leg by the knee or by the thigh point. And then you're connecting the paleo calf. And you have the Wingfinger spear, and then you have the Ractiny spear, because that silhouette combined together, that contour, it forms that wing, right? And you do it for both sides. And this you're going to plug into the torso later. And let me just put this to the side. I think the next thing that I could remove is probably the arm. The arm, I know that what is it? Magmatron has the dinosaur, the dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus face, but the build was easier to do doing this. Trust me, I tried, but it worked out better this way. And so, but still, you still have the dinosaur skull like face hanging off from the right shoulder pauldron, and so we have the what is it? The Ractonite dino skull, right? And you can see that the crest has been removed. It's very easy to remove. You can pop it on and off. It doesn't damage the figure. And then you want to extend, that dark gray peg from the bottom of the chin. You want to pop that out and have that plugged in to the Wingfinger thigh. Yeah, and you want the Wingfinger thigh configured like this because this is going to be the shoulder bend or kind of like the elbow bend, really. And then yeah, you can have it like that. And then this thigh bit, that little port over there, that's where you plug in the forearm. And yeah, it's not like a direct line, but still, it's good enough and has a good illusion for it. And that's the arm. Use the Wingfinger forearm plugged into the Wingfinger thigh, into the rack dino face. And then you have the paleo blade with the little tail. And that's the sword, that big old sword that Magmatron has. And dude, I think it looks great. So I'm going to move that to the side. Now let's take a look at the other arm. I feel bad. I'm all like disassembling, dude. He's like, my freaking arm. Okay, the other arm over here is utilizing the hip covering, the dinosaur hip covering for Ractonite. And then you have that plugged in the same way to the Wingfinger thigh and the Wingfinger forearm. And then you have his little dagger, which I just created using the rack tail and the Paleo robot skull just plugged in. And that's a cool little dagger. And to form out the beef from the plesiosaur, that big chunk that you would have there, you're taking the bottom of the Wingfinger torso, and you have that configured like this, and you plug that right there, and then the whole wing dino face plugged in to try to form that shell or that body of the plesiosaur, seasaur, I think, right? Seasaur, seashells down by the seashore. But that's the other arm. Yeah. Pretty easy. Pretty easy. Let me put this to the side. Okay. So now let's take a look at the backpack. Dude, I love how the hands are draping down over here. And I'm glad Nick Nat Games mentioned that. He was like, hey, you did a real good job doing it on V1. It looks better than V2. And I totally agree. And the way that that's plugged in is it's plugged into the Paleotrex dinosaur skull. Those two little ports that hang out from the side. That's where you're putting the arms. And then you're kind of draping them forward like this on the body. And then this can all unplug right here at the top. Yeah, the mouth is slightly ajar because it actually fits down into this whole thing. Yeah, and then we'll talk about this bit later. So yeah, it's a little piece of paper to strengthen the bond. But so basically this is just the Paleo Dino skull. And then you have the Paleo like claw things plugged in like that. And like I said, you need to be able to wrap them around like so. And so that's the back bit. And before I forget, that little port on the top, that's where you plug in the wings. Yeah. I'm kind of hurrying up right now because I think my camera is about to die. The battery's about to die, and I don't want to do edits and stuff. But anyway, that's the back bit. And then we're just taking a look at the body. And so the body is just your Ractonite body, and then you have the Paleotrex thigh like this, and then you have the Wingfinger thigh, like Wingfinger top half. This is really tight fit because I put in a bunch of pieces of paper to tighten it up. But the first leg is like this. The left leg is configured the Wingfinger top torso so that the head is facing forward, and then the thigh looks like this, and then the calf looks like that. And then you plug in the Wingfinger claw, hand, foot, whatever you want to call this thing, and that's your left leg. And you do something very, very similar on the right side with the Paleotrex leg. And the Paleotrex leg is the same thing. You just configure, have the little peg facing forward, this side facing you, and then this just kind of sideways to plug in like the Wingfinger hand claw thing, and that's the other leg. Now, where do these things plug in? They plug into this guy, and he's like, oh, cannonball! And I made that joke on the first video, too. But this is the Ractonite body, right? And these are the small rack legs. And you want to plug them into the little pegs that protrude from the body. What you also want to do is you want to keep those ports facing outward because that's where you're going to plug in the legs, yeah? In the bottom, you're filling out this cavity by putting the Paleotrex buckler. You see it hiding beneath the legs. And then the back, what you're doing is, so it actually looks like this. You got the legs folded out, and then the legs have the heels, right? And the heels are basically plugged in to those little ports, the dual ports extending from the crest of the rack dino thing. And yeah, it's a little unconventional, I know. But, so you plug in the leg like that. Then you plug in the other leg like that and just try to give him some good balance. He can get into all these like heroic poses and stuff. And so, you know how I said you got to keep the mouth ajar? Because yeah, you're fitting it right here, that space. And then, oops, as that little piece of paper goes flying, that's okay. Yeah, so he's kind of biting down on the back, and it's plugged into the back, and then the hands are kind of like draped forward. Looks so cool already. Like, oh, getting so excited. I love my toys. I was talking to my girl the other day, and I was just building stuff while we were talking, and then she just looked at me. She's like, "You really love this stuff." I was like, "Hell yeah, I love this stuff. Otherwise, how could I be pumping out videos every day if this wasn't my passion? You know, if I didn't love doing this, how could I possibly do this every day, multiple builds every day? It's just, dude, I love playing with Transformers." And yeah, boom. Sorry, that was a little loud on the mic. But I'm so happy with this build. I feel like all the effort that I took in V1, V2, all the comments that you guys provided that helped put this together. So I feel like this is a bit of a community project, a community accomplishment that we did together as a channel, you know. So thank you so much for your feedback, and thank you so much for the views, the subscriptions, and like, dude, all of that stuff. And I'm just really in a really good mood, presenting to you version 3 of Magmatron. So if you like what you saw and you like what you hear, dude, I would really appreciate a like, sub, and if you want to share it to your friends and spread the good news, awesome. I would really appreciate that too. Oh, as he takes a dive. I think that's a good cue for me to bounce in right now. So thank you so much for your time. I am Agent Orange, and you are excellent, you. And let us talk again next time. Take care. Bye bye.